Let's reflect. What have we discussed so far? So first of all, collaboration. And you used your time well to exchange with the panel discussions, but also with the exhibition and also with the coffees. We also saw a lot of innovative topics, a lot of discussions around how we foster innovation and collaboration. Now let's shift the perspective to another topic, which is artificial intelligence. And what if artificial intelligence would enable us to seamlessly collaborate across the industry and innovate together in a new way, in a very fast way, and in a very efficient way? So this is not a distant future, and those of you who visited our exhibition already had maybe one or the other glimpse of what can happen. But first of all, I would like to ask you one simple question. So I guess all of you know Facebook. What do you think? How long did it take Facebook to attract 1 million users? Don't be shy. Who says 1 year? Who says some months? Okay, it was 3.5 years. So if we look next, 10 months. So you were not too bad. If we look at the pace AI tools attracted 1 million users, it's much faster. You can expect that, right? The graph is already telling the right direction. What do you think? Who's brave enough? How long did it take ChatGPT to attract 1 million users? 1 month? 10 days? 1 hour? Okay, it's 5 days. 5 days. And see, that is why we cannot wait. This is 1 million people out there that saw immediately what it brings to them, how they can be more productive, more efficient, save costs, and so on. So also, we need, as an automotive industry, to embrace that technology and make use of it. And I'm really happy today to have real experts with me giving you the overview of AI, and I would warmly welcome Tanja Rückert as our first speaker. A warm welcome.
Yeah, warm welcome from my side. And now, after I heard what you have done all day, I maybe would have preferred spending all day with you. It seems that it was very, very cool, not only drinking coffee, but getting a lot of insights. And now we come to the highlight of the highlight of the highlight. And this is really, I truly believe that generative AI will transform industries like what we have seen before with electricity, with the invention of the computer and the internet. At the end, you can judge after our presentation, but most likely you will have to try it out. You have to feel it yourself. You have to work with it and then grasp what transformative potential it has. So let me start. I'm not sure. You see the slides. Great. So I think when you talk to the analysts say, hey, there's a huge market potential. The market potential is in the trillion for the entire market. For automotive only, it triples until 27. So I think it's unbelievable what we see. Why do you think it's so high in automotive? Yeah, no. If you want to have later on a beer and want to listen to the other two presentations, you need to be a little active. Parking, traffic situations everywhere. We need to understand what is happening there. ADAS. Gen AI will play a key role in ADAS. But first, I think in many companies, we have to grab what are the productivity increases, the productivity gains. I'm sure you read studies from McKinsey where it says, software development, double digit, test case writing, cut error rates. I think this is happening. But if people think it is only in software, no. It is in engineering, it is in manufacturing, it's in procurement, it's even in IP and legal. It is everywhere where you have data. And there we can increase the productivity, increase the quality, and speed up the time to market. If we have an open mindset, if we are open to accept AI, generative AI, as our digital companion. Whenever you are sitting in a meeting, and I mean this mainly to the Bosch and ITAS colleagues, not to our customers, you should always ask 2 questions. Number 1, what value does it provide to our customers, what we are discussing, what we are building? Number 2, can Gen AI, as my digital companion, take over part of the work? It will change the way we work, it will change the way we operate with each other, and it will also change our private lives. But now, before we move in deep areas of Gen AI, I was also asked to give some introduction. Is it something which was kind of happening overnight when ChatGPT came up, 5 days? You remember what Mariella said? Or is it out there for some time? And clearly, it is out there for some time. It's 1950 when it started. Actually, it was 1943. So those of you who are experts will say, Tanja forgot one. No, it started even a little earlier. And there was this Turing test, right? Where do I still see a difference between the answer or the behavior of a human or a machine? Or do I have conditions where it's similar? And then the term artificial intelligence was formed. And after that, a lot of years happened nothing, because there was not enough compute power, and there was also questioning, is there really a transformative potential in it? And it came back via the private life. You remember those events with the gaming, the chess, what we see here with IBM's Deep Blue beats the Gary, what was his name again? So Kasparov, exactly. And there's one event missing here on the slides. It's actually for all of you that I see. Do you know one event is missing here? Go, yeah. There was a Go game. Yeah, you remember Google, DeepMind. So I think a lot of things happening where artificial intelligence, Gen AI, showed under special conditions, it can predict the next step even better as highly qualified humans, again, under certain conditions. You know about Siri, it helps you as assistant, think of the companion thinking, and then the big moment with ChatGPT. And the big difference is natural language interaction. You talk in your normal language and the IT system understands you. This is a big difference. And if you often hear, sometimes people are so clever and say, no one understands machine learning, deep learning. It's really easy. Machine learning only focused on one task, and it classified. Let's say you have a lot of pictures of cats and dogs. It could say, cats, dogs. But again, one task, or mails, spam, non-spam. And if someone says, hey, I know a lot, I know supervised learning, unsupervised learning, it's all machine learning. I think that was the first step. And then when we came to the 2010s and following years, it was about deep learning. So artificial intelligence always looks at patterns. Are there somewhere patterns? In the first step, in the machine learning, you have to help. What is a pattern? In the deep learning, it uses the power of several layers of neural networks, and it identifies patterns on its own. So think about the cat and dog example. It's maybe the ear shape, or it's a fur pattern, and it does it for you. It identifies where are cats and where are dogs. And then the next step, and currently the last step, generative AI, it creates pictures. It creates pictures of dogs or cats or whatever you say, based on the knowledge how it looks like, what is the shape, because I have access to all the information in the internet. So now I explained it already a little bit, but what is Gen AI doing? Again, it's not my work. What is Gen AI doing? Generating content, new content, exactly. And it's music, it's text, it's code. And at the end, all artificial intelligence, what I showed you before, machine learning, deep learning, Gen AI, is based on pattern analysis. You might now say, oh, it's too simple, there's much more. Just think it through. It's pattern analysis. And then it starts to predict and uses probability. So this is what is exactly happening. So it looks at what is all available, has a certain probability, and then proposes the next word. So let's stay with the cats. The cat runs after, what would you say? Mouse. What would you say? Ball. I would say we have a cat at home, bird. Yeah, because when our cat sees a bird, she thinks, oh, now I have to run. And then she concentrates on the bird. She gets defocused and the bird is gone and she was. But I would pick bird. Others would pick mouse. Others would pick ball. So you get normally different options, and then the probability in a certain context, it decides, oh, in the case of Rückert's home, it's bird. In the case of it's maybe mouse, and there it's ball, depending on what information it has from the internet. I think this is, sorry for oversimplifying it, but it's not magic, it's not bad, it's really cool, because it helps us to create new content. Now, the figure 5. I have one more thing and then we come to the Bosch examples. But one more thing, what are those 5 standing for? It's not the 5 days, because Mayella already took that one. What could it be? It will really take long until we get beer. 5 words is one thing. Think more in a time scale. 5 years, 5. So when you look at the ChatGPT releases, 3.5, 4.0, and the announced 1.50, there was someone. It is so when you listen to Sam Altman, he says ChatGPT 3.5 covers task of 5 seconds. So what is the capital of Germany? And actually maybe it already can write poems. I cannot do it in 5 seconds, but 3.5 in his mind can cover tasks of 5 seconds of humans. When you go to GPT 4.0, it can cover tasks of 5 hours. And when 5 minutes, sorry, I was wrong. Hopefully you realized, so 5 seconds, 5 minutes. And when you look at GPT 5.0, which is supposed to come out soon, 5 hours. This is a tremendous acceleration, and it just happened in months. Yeah, and it will continue like this. So it makes absolutely sense to look into it. What could it do for you? Now, why are we as Bosch, coming from the industrial player, coming from automotive mobility, are talking about such topics? Because we have a lot of experience, expertise, and heritage in AI and Gen AI. Already in 2017, we have created or initiated Bosch Center of Artificial Intelligence. And ETAS and everybody else has access to our corporate research, to all our experts we have in AI. We also started very early to think about the trust topic, ethics. Our AI code of ethics was kind of a GDPR AI Act mixture. Also very early. And training. you have to take your people with you. They need to understand what potential is there. Not the deep algorithms, but what potential is there. And then we were growing. So by now we have a large group of experts of 5,000 colleagues. And this is an internal slide, but I decided to share it with you to also give you some confidence that with ETAS and Bosch, you have a partner who understands what means AI, what Gen AI can do, but more in the world of what AI can train things. It's not so much this recommendation engine, what you should buy next or what movie you should watch next. Really more help a camera understand what it sees. So train AI on the physical world. Train AI on the physical world. I think this is very important. This is our expertise, and it goes via a lot of patents. So we have, actually the number is not on, we have more than 1,000 patents. We are leading here in Europe and Germany. And our vision is generative AI is your digital companion, your team member, and can support you. Now let's come to some examples. So if you are in the innovation process, and here is also again a number from analyst reports, R&D efficiency can be increased by 10 to 15. You sometimes read 30, you sometimes need 13. So it's different numbers. But productivity can be increased. Why? Your digital companion does some market research for you. He writes up the first summary. He has access to all of the internet sources, and in the case of Bosch, to all the Bosch data. But in a secure way. It's protected. It's not in the cloud somewhere in the world. It is protected in Bosch environment. And I think that's, of course, an acceleration. And that's what we are making available to all our people, to all our colleagues, associates. Why do I say this? I truly believe our people makes a difference. And if you believe this, you have to share what we are doing. You have to provide information. You have to have trainings and education available and try it out. How do kids learn? Try it out. And trying it out means for us, ask Bosch. Think of it as a GPT version, and it's not only GPT, it's also other models in a secure environment. And not only internet data, but also Bosch data. And it can summarizing, it can translate, it can do everything what you can do with a GPT, but it can do also a little more. And I have a short video, I explain it in a second. Oh, yeah. Two annual reports. So you feed this, I explain it later first. It can also create code. It's not only Microsoft Copilot. It can do easy Python code. But when we stay for a second with the first example, you feed, so you have a document or several documents, you feed, ask Bosch, and then it automatically you say, should it compare, should it summarize, should it extract? It could be competitor information, it could be supplier information, whatever you want to have analyzed as part of your innovation process. But it's not only ask Bosch. When we go in our manufacturing world, and you know that we have a lot of factories, we have a lot of plants, we of course want to use also here the productivity increase. And you can imagine that you see here a number, what analysts predict how much you can save, that this was also motivation for our colleagues in the plants. And I have brought you now one example where we used artificial intelligence already for automatic optical inspection, so not with your eyes, but with AI. And if you use generative AI, you can create synthetic pictures. Why is this important? Because we don't want to wait until all things are broken. It normally takes months over months until you have enough not okay data. And that's what you can easily do with generative AI. Let me also show it briefly to you as a video. It actually reduced the ramp up on a line from 12 to 18 months to only a few weeks. In average, we reduced it by 6 months, and you can imagine this is also financial impact. Now, last example, it's also in operations and service centers. Imagine you are stuck in an elevator. Who was stuck in an elevator? Yeah, I'm always surprised how many people are stuck. I never want to have this. And think of the European Championship. A lot of foreign colleagues were also in Germany. That was when it was requested and developed, because you can talk in your own language and it automatically translates and routes you to the right agent. So I think this is a simultaneous kind of translation while you're doing the emergency call. And there are many more, and I think, Joachim, you will share a little bit also on customer service, many more examples on customer service. And it's not stopping here. It continues. We will see even more development. It will go faster. Remember this 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours. It will go to specialized hardware. It will mix text, images, and video. We will also see more personalized. It will say maybe, you get this training next because of your background. So it will have more personalized services. And when you see multi-agents, think of it as hyper-automation. Autonomous agents you feed with, they might do your purchasing negotiations because you feed one agent with one information, the other one feeds the agent, they discuss it back and forth, and at the end you can come in and do the handshake. I know it sounds like future, but it will happen. It will happen, and it will not take too long. It will not come for granted. You have to put efforts in. And effort means data. Data is the foundation. Data quality, data governance, data formats. Data strategy needs to be in place. It is also about not doing it all alone. We would love to work with all of you. We work also with partners. We work with the hyperscalers. We work with startups. We use open source. And at the end, the people make the difference. Are you willing to embark in such a joint journey and including more and more Gen AI in our solutions to create more value? This open mindset needs to be there, and then we can take real competitive advantage of this technology. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tanja. Thank you, Tanja. And now let's shift the focus even more into automotive and into software of automotive. So we heard this morning already from the BMW colleagues that the features in software increased from 50 to more than 200. And also the increased software interfaces increased the complexity of their new model by 200%. So there is a lot that we can enable with AI to make it more productive and more efficient. And I think we are in this industry gathering the ecosystems together. So we have heard about the hyperscalers who play an essential role, but also about tiers, about software vendors like us and the OEMs. So we have all our capabilities on board, but we may have to make use of it. And to make use of it, we need to speed up. Why am I mentioning speeding up? If we look around different industries, we see that not only connectivity and safety and personalization are increasing, but also capabilities that say, how am I able to update and keep updated my software? And you can see here the examples of OEMs, probably not the ones that are here in this room, but some of the OEMs only do updates twice a year. And other players in other industries, like tech players, manage to do that 20 times in the same period. More often, updates are done in fintech, with over 400 times a day. So there is a link between how am I able to convince my customer that my product is really up to date, and am I really driving the latest and greatest features that my customer needs? And all these industries have safety relevance, are regulated, and so on. So there is no real specialty around it. As ITAS, we are trying to feature also these collaborative ways. So we are convinced that collaboration is the key, and I think we heard it also from Tanya. People matter. People need to be convinced that it makes sense to work together to increase that speed. Second, we really need to define and use standards. And Thomas and also his BMW colleague, we also had discussed this morning that one mentioning open source could be the solution to it. But there are a lot of other standards that we created already in the industry. So we really need to make use of that standards and create maybe new ones. And third, it's embracing artificial intelligence. Let me bring 3 examples of our world. And you see, ITAS is dedicated to really streamline the software process from innovating, developing, and operating the software. 3 examples of different solutions that we have already in the market or launched today, where I can bring you on that journey of AI. They are all in the different categories that you already saw from Tanya. It's innovation, it's productize, and it's also operation. All of these examples you can also see outside in our exhibition. So if you have not understood today what I'm explaining you can go later on and see it with the colleagues. So as ITAS, we have already a decade of experience with machine learning. We used machine learning algorithms to improve the development and optimize also the vehicle functions faster and more efficient. Our customers already use our solution that is working in engine applications. Here, we improve the optimization of parameters that give engine applications the lowest consumption, the lowest noise. And here we also have implemented machine learning that individually carry out tests and drive and reduce the driving on test drives, and test benches. So here we are using the solution AskMo, and I can also give some examples. For example, with Volkswagen, in the beginning of this journey, we were able to reduce the interlock incidences and the test kilometers on the bench. So there is a lot of things that we are doing a long time already. The second example is when we think about autonomous driving and parking. So you know that in these areas, there has to be a recognition of the different sensors of obstacles in the way. So here you can see an example of a wall and a different obstacle also in front of the wall. And as we learned earlier from Tanya, a lot of compute power and storage is needed to make the AI model working for such use cases, to detect what is in front of you and then also take decisions, what you have to do in this case. Now, we all know that there are safety hard real-time devices in our vehicles that would not have enough storage to really apply these models. But what we've launched today is the embedded AI coder, where we really translate from the AI model to the microcontroller world in embedded software a hard code that you can implement to make use of these AI models in a device that is not as big, as huge as you would need it. So also here, you can ask the colleagues later, they can show you a demo. It's really great to see that. We are doing the hard stuff in the bottom. I think that is really great with AI. For a fast and efficient market launch, it's also necessary to have the diagnostic documentation in place. We have examples of OEMs, for example, in the US, where they launched in 2021 105 new models to the market. So imagine what that means for technical documentation. One model requires 20,000 pages of technical documentation. It requires 2,000 pin tests. It requires 5,000 detection cases. All of this for 105 models makes up 2.3 million pages of technical documentation in that 1 year alone. So now what we offer here and what we do together with Bosch and also Microsoft is to really look at, well, how can we reduce these, over the last decade, 300% of increase in pages to make it automated, basically. And what we've done here is that all these pages in the first step are now analyzed automatically via AI. And we can also, in the near future, write certain text passages and also pictures and derive the whole technical documentation or a large part of it, nearly up to 75% via GenAI. So really great stuff that we are using to reduce effort and to make our lives more focused on the things where we need our brains. But this also brings me to the last part. As you have seen, we have implemented things already for the last decade with AI and machine learning, but there is a pace or race also going on. So also in our industry, we really need to embrace that technology. And I'm really honored and proud that we have today Microsoft with us, who are helping us on this journey, and we have a good collaboration, not only in the topic of AI. So Joachim Franz, join me on stage, and a warm welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mariella. Thank you for the invitation, Tanya. Very excited to be here on stage to kind of round up the day. Before I jump into the topic, I want to give you a little background on why am I here today and why do I talk about AI so much. I'm 25 years in the industry. I started 11 years as a management consultant, talking and consulting different kind of automotive companies, suppliers and OEM. And then I joined a small automotive OEM located in Wolfsburg. I was 10 years with that company, was responsible for digital transformation and sales and after sales. Super exciting job. Nobody really was excited about digital. So I was like feeling a lot of pain trying to transform what is happening today into what is going to be the future. And then I joined Microsoft. And 25 years in the industry, I still think that this today and tomorrow is the most exciting time in this industry ever. The speed is neck-breaking. The level of innovation is just astonishing, and a lot of it is driven by GenAI. And I want to bring 3 use cases to make it tangible, and I want to talk about a use case that is deeply in the heart of engineering when it comes to requirements management. I want to talk about one use case that is more in product design and in engineering the final product, and then one use case which is more centered around the customer service and the customer dialogue. And all the use cases that I'm going to present, I have a little task for you, because I want you to think about how you can apply what you see in your own domain, right? Because it's not just let's copy and paste, but let's look at the functionality, let's look at the scenario behind it, and let's think about how can we apply that to our everyday job. All right. So let me start by GenAI supported requirements management. We know that in a modern vehicle, we have roughly 50,000 mechanical and regulatory requirements that we need to cater for. We have around 500,000 software requirements, and in a modern day vehicle, we have around 200 to 300 million lines of code that we need to manage when developing a car. We also know that when we are taking one specific requirement from reading it out of a specification, translating it into code, into really what is needed in the vehicle to appear to happen, and then coding, producing, integrating, testing, releasing, and making it available to the customer, it takes around 8 hours per each requirement. So that's a lot of time. And the question is, how can we speed up that process? What I want to show you here is, and it's not science fiction, that's what you can do today or tomorrow with the use of GenAI, is how you can manage requirements and how you can have GenAI helping you in managing the requirements. So here we have a nice UNECE regulation. It's a 64 pages document. It's about an advanced lane keeping system. So it's nothing that you would probably read at night when you are trying to wind down from your job, but you have a companion who can help you do that. So here's what we did. So we fed this specification into an Azure OpenAI Playground, and we started to chat with what is in the document. So, I mean, the first question is a very, very easy one. What is ALKS, automated lane keeping system? So you get an explanation what it is, but that's not rocket science, right? But what if we would ask it, hey, can you give me all the requirements that I need to adhere to when implementing ALKS in my vehicle? So you can get an information about what are the specific requirements that you need to adhere to as a manufacturer. And then taking it one step further, what we can also do is ask it, hey, now if I would build a function like this, can you create test cases which will help me to make sure and prove that I'm really developing a function that is according to the requirement that is outlined in the UNECE. And so we just simply ask our companion, hey, create 10 test cases that I can use and that I can use to test that my product that I'm going to develop is according to all the requirements in the UNECE. So very, very helpful, but that's not the end. So you would want to have it in your requirements management system. So you can push it into, here's an example of Codebeamer. So you push the requirement into Codebeamer, and then you ask Codebeamer, hey, can you help me check this requirement for quality? So each requirement you want to have met a certain level of quality requirements. So is it unambiguous? Is it clearly documented? Is it in a common language, right? Is it precise? And GenAI does all the tricks for you. So it will check all the requirements that you have just documented, and it will give you hints on where you probably do not meet quality standards, right? In addition to that, it will also give you recommendations on how you could, translating is an easy task, but how you can probably make it more unambiguous or make it more concrete, or provide probably a specification to a specific requirement that is not yet there. So that can also be done with the help of GenAI. And then finally, what you don't want to have is hallucination in this context, right? So nobody wants to have a requirement that is completely off topic. So you can still manually put data into your requirements management system and make sure that everything that is going to be coded in the future really is according to the standards that you want to meet. So it's highly automated, but you are still in the driver's seat. This is why we always talk about co-pilots, because you're still the pilot in the main seat, and you need to make sure that you are meeting all the requirements. So that is something that can help you reduce the time to manage requirements significantly. We spoke to many automotive companies and engineering companies, and the common sense we get, it's between 25 and 35% time reduction that we will experience when using these tools, and we are implementing those tools right now with the first companies that we're working with. So again, 50,000 mechanical requirements, 500,000 software requirements times 8 hours, minus 25%. This has a huge business case, right? So that was use case number one. Let me talk about the second one for product design and development. I think that when you're engineering a product, or when you are deeply engaged or immersed in your day-to-day engineering job, what you don't want to do is you don't want to switch between 3 different systems or even more. One where you have your BOM, one where you have your CAD drawings, one where you have all the material documentations, one where you have data sets. So you want to stay immersed in your work, and ideally you have a companion who helps you make sense of the data, gives you recommendations on how you improve your engineering process, and do that all in an integrated and one pane of glass. And I want to show you how we are doing that and how we have showcased it with our colleagues from BMW at the Hannover Messe. And I think it's quite an exciting way on how to really keep engineers immersed in developing their product. And that all with the goal of making sure that in the future, we will not be in a situation where 51% of all the automotive projects are over time and 44% are over budget. So let's have a look at it.
Generative AI is transforming and disrupting the engineering and development process in a massive way. We tried to combine different technologies, augmented reality, large language model solution, Copilot, and then as a third layer, the seamless data connectivity.
The recommended alternative material to replace ABS in non-structural parts is PPE-PDM.
We believe that if you interconnect these 3 layers, generative AI can be a powerful link between the user and the data. It's enhancing productivity, fostering creativity, and simplifying the complexity we have to deal with. We developed a physical product, a car. We work a lot with 3D data, geometry, and we want our engineers and users to stay immersed in this 3-dimensional environment. In the future, we will have an AI engineering assistant that is constantly accompanying you through your daily work. And the only interface you have to interact with, if you want to know something, it's just a prompt away. And that's our vision.
So think about it. As has been said, the engineering body is just one prompt away, and it's not in the future. It's not even a prompt; it's a dialogue. You just speak to the system, right? And you can stay immersed in your work. You don't have to switch between systems, and you have all the data at the tip of your finger. I think it's quite exciting. So let me talk about the final use case for today: customer service management. And I do think, and I know that most of you have had a call with a customer service center for one or the other reason. And I don't know, mine are most of the time quite frustrating. And still, it's an area where companies invest a lot of money, while at the same time we have a lot of end customers are being quite frustrated with the experience there, right? So our true belief is that, especially when it comes to first level support, we can automate and we can have a lot of it done by agents that are highly specified and highly trained with the power of Gen AI. And we we truly believe that the numbers that you see on the slide with the level of churn that we experience when a customer is frustrated, or the amount of people that would rather speak to a very qualified digital agent than to a probably frustrated or disillusioned call center employee, we know that we can improve on those KPI. And the business case is, if you're looking at an average call center with around 100 call center agents, if you manage to bring down the average call time by 1 minute, you save 1.5 million annually. And I want to show an example where you can not only bring it down by 1 minute, but probably take out the 6.1 minute in total for first level service calls. And the way I want to show it to you is how I did it in roughly 30 minutes. So I used our OpenAI playground. This is more or less the instruction I gave to the service agent that I wanted to build. And really nothing more than that, right? So I did not upload any user manual, any FAQ document, really just told the agent, hey, you are an agent that is being called when I have a breakdown with my car. Please, first of all, make sure that I'm not hurt, that I'm not injured, and take my contact details and help me out in the situation, and be friendly and be somebody who is helping me through this stressful situation. And yeah, this is what I produced, pretty simple and straightforward. Hi, is there somebody?
Hi. Yes, I'm here. Are you okay? Can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I'm fine. But my car broke down.
Glad you're okay. I can help with that. What's your name? And can you tell me a bit about what happened with your car?
My name is Joachim, and the engine suddenly stopped and it doesn't work anymore.
Thanks, Joachim. That sounds frustrating. Do you remember if there were any warning lights or strange sounds before the engine stopped? Also, where are you right now? I can help find the nearest place to get your car checked.
No, it just stopped and I see a yellow warning light. I'm close to Stuttgart in a place called Feuerbach.
Got it, Joachim. The yellow warning light might be important. It could signal an issue with the engine or other systems. But no worries, I'll help you out. Feuerbach is close to Stuttgart, so let me find the nearest Mercedes service center or repair shop for you. I'll just need a moment to check that.
All right, thanks.
Joachim, I found a Mercedes-Benz service center close to you in Feuerbach. It's located at Heilbronner Straße 339, 70469 Stuttgart. You can reach them at +49 711 25900. They handle repairs and service, so they should be able to help you get your car back up and running. If you need help contacting them or arranging a tow, just let me know.
Great, thanks. I can take it from here.
You're welcome, Joachim. I'm glad I could help. If anything changes or you need further assistance, just reach out. Safe travels.
All right. So it's of course, it's not the perfect dialogue, but it's quite an okayish dialogue, I would say. And it, of course, it didn't fix my problem immediately, but think about if you feed it with more technical guidance, if you feed it with more information on how to probably solve the problem for yourself and stuff like that, you can really implement a very, very strong dialogue and quite easily. So I was not showing you this example to primarily and only talk about a service center case. I wanted to also make the case that don't be afraid. Implementing GenAI solutions it's not a 3-month or even 6-month or 1-year project that takes billions of investment. You can start right away. Use the tools that are available. Work with your team at EDAS or even at Bosch, and just think about how you can improve your business, your customers' business, and ultimately the life of our end customers. So the opportunities are there and the potential is there. And we talked about it already. We showed a lot of use cases. So I leave you with a slide. It's the potentials are along the value chain. It's not just in engineering. It's not just in production. It's not just in sales and marketing. It's across all the functions of any company. So it's ours to make the most use of it. It will not go away. Gen AI will not go away. So if you don't use it, your competitors definitely will. So I can only emphasize what Tanya already said and Mariela. So make up your mind. Just work with us, with your partner of choice, and think about use cases you can implement to make your customers' lives and your own lives more productive and better in any sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joachim. You can stay with us here. So thank you very much. We have now some time for questions. And please, Tanya and Mariela, join us back on stage. You can come here to our panel. Thank you. Okay. So do we have any questions in the room? Tobias, was this a hand sign? Oh, no, this was a photo. Do we have an online question, Markus?
Yes, there is one. So the question is, how can companies in the automotive sector ensure that the use of AI for data analysis and processing maintains data security and protects customer privacy?
I'm happy to take it if I may.
Yeah, I would add then how we do it at Bosch.
Yes. So, and that's a very, very important question. At the end of the day, there's no use case that we as Microsoft can and will implement with any customer out there, any company out there, which is not according to the respective local and data laws. So if we implement a Gen AI use case with ETAS in Germany, we will make sure that the data remains in the European data legislature. It's according to GDPR. We also have our own safe AI rules and regulations to make sure that whatever we build will not discriminate, will not harm anybody, and will be according to highest standards when it comes to have safe AI implementation. So I think everybody needs to be aware of what is it that where I'm testing with probably using an open AI subscription that I can buy privately. I would not run a business use case on top of that. Therefore, you also have at Bosch already implemented playgrounds where you can do that in a safe environment. But to test out what are the capabilities, the possibilities, you can use that just to train yourself. But once you want to have it productive and customer facing, you need to work in those environments.
As in I add, first of all, whoever asks this question, it's absolutely and easily possible. You have to put in some effort. And when we started, people were nervous. Yeah. But we are working with Microsoft. We are working also with Google. We're working with Amazon. And we are working with Aleph Alpha and others. We have on-premise installation. We have it in the cloud. It depends on the level of security we want to have of the data. And the data of our customers always stays with us and does not go anywhere. And this is clearly ensured and happens with the IT frame we build around it. And again, it depends on the security level. It can also be on-premise in our private cloud, in our own data center. This is for us highest priority. And that's what we started already before AI Act and GDPR came out.
All right. There is another online one.
Great.
So if I may, what are the key factors for successfully integrating generative AI into existing workflows in the automotive industry?
So the key success factor?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the key success factor for implementation is that it really immediately shows you where you get more efficient and more productive. So I think all the use cases that we implemented really showed a significant increase in productivity or efficiency, but at the same time, respected all the data security topics, because also we get these questions. But I want to mention also something. If we want to leverage AI models, we need to share data. And we need to have a lot of data in the models so that they get better. And I think that is also a trust topic for sure. And it's also something where we have methods to ensure that it's safe and secured. On the other hand, we need to work together in this to make it really a big step for the automotive industry. So really encouraging, let's put us together, and data can be secured and safe, but we need to work together.
May I add? I think you described it perfectly, but it's also about the people. If you have people in your organization or leaders responsible for these topics who are not open to share data or to work with new tools, which will also take some tasks away from them, it will be very difficult. So I think this is the main point. And when I look at Bosch, we have some organizations moving very fast, and ETAS here with Mariella and Thomas are on with them, and they understand it and they work on it and they make sure it's also reliable and trustful. But others are slower because they are afraid. And you might have the same in your company, and you have to identify and help them overcome this whatever fear is existing.
I have a question. Jifa Frick, my name, from Adesso. I heard you had 2 questions for your employees that everybody should ask themselves when they're in meetings. The first one being, do we add any value for our customers, which is a crucial point, obviously.
Hopefully I said it a little more positive.
And the second one being, is any part of my role, what we're doing here, could that be replaced or accompanied by AI? And I just recently tried out Copilot, and it's amazing. Just 3 days in it, and I already see it can sum up emails, can make summaries, can gather the information, which just saves time. And my question is, I heard you have, in Bosch, you have playgrounds to test out ChatGPT. You have the Ask Bosch, which is also a good tool, I understand. For new features that are coming up, such as Copilot, how do you enable your employees to participate in that? Because if you haven't played around with it, you won't come up with the idea that it could help you in your work.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's actually a very good question. And second one, where I say I want everybody to think about what it could. I did on purpose not say replace my job, because I don't believe it will replace most likely entire jobs, but it will replace tasks. Yeah, there are a lot of analysis out. Some people have 10, 15 tasks. 3 maybe can be taken over. Others they have to do, at least for the time right now. And we can have process steps. It will maybe change over time, but for now this is the case. I truly believe in these 3 steps. Number 1, for your associates, you need to create transparency. You also need to talk very openly about fear, what about ethics, what to do, what is available, and so on. So a lot of communication, town halls, and so on, what you do. The second one is training and education. And it could be online formats, it is in classrooms, and we had an AI training, and we are by now have trained 30,000 of our associates. Since last year, we have Gen AI chapter. Since this year, we have Gen AI training also for leaders. Very important, because if the leader is not playing a role model and says, hey, I'm using Ask Bosch, I'm using GitHub Copilot, why should I do it? Yeah, so they play an instrumental role. And the third one is have those playgrounds like Ask Bosch, Azure Playground, or other playgrounds. And we have also others, but I mentioned now the Microsoft ones, where you can try it out. People don't believe always, if I say it, Mariella says it, they have to try it out themselves. But I come back to, if the leaders are not showing they're using it, they're believing in it, they have maybe some examples like Mariella had, which are mind-blowing what it can do, it will not happen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think we might have time for one last question. We still have, I cannot see it over there. There you are. Hi.
Hi, Shabel Asaf from Momenta AI, previously long time at Bosch. Where do you think Bosch and ETAS and the rest of the German industry stand today concerning AI, of course, compared to the competition, and how to catch up? And of course, what you mentioned before about training to leaders and so is one step, but what else has to be done?
So you indicated with your only slightly and really between the lines that you might think we have to catch up. So first of all, when we look at Bosch and ETAS, it's a global company. It's not a German. We have German headquarters and so on, but we have people around the world in US, in China, in India, everywhere, and we take advantage what is happening in those countries and regions. This is number one. The second one is I always differentiate between industrial AI and consumer AI. Consumer AI, I don't see German industries leading. Industrial AIs, I think there's a huge opportunities. And this is what I tried to explain before. In a consumer AI, you give a recommendation what you should buy next, what movie you should watch. Industrial AI explains a camera the physical world. Some of the other players, I say so, might not have the same domain knowledge or more than 100 years experience in the physical world. So I believe there's an opportunity and not a catch-up opportunity, more a leading, shaping opportunity, more in the industrial AI space. Not in the consumer one, but in the industrial AI space.
There's not really a lot to add because I fully agree on the perspective. And it's what Tanya said, it's the domain knowledge. Because as we also learned, I mean, Gen AI does not generate innovations. So it just uses what is already there and puts it into context, rephrases it, summarizes it, analyzes it. But the ingenuity is not there yet, right? So if we take the domain knowledge that we as an engineering and manufacturing powerhouse, as we are in Germany, have, and combine that with what is out there in Gen AI capabilities, I think we do have a chance to be competitive ahead of what is happening in other parts of the world. But it will not come easy. That's also for sure. So it's not happening all by its own. So it will take decisive actions, a lot of effort, and to some extent also tough decisions that we need to take.
But let me add one challenge, maybe before I was even too positive. If you look at the, I exactly stick to my statement, but what we are right now doing in Europe with the AI Act is a risk for all of us, yeah, because this puts some regulations around it. Some standards are not even defined. It should go. It's already live since August 1st. There is really a risk of over-regulation. There's right now not all regulation fit to what was already out there in the market, and it's unclear what agency in Germany or in the other countries does really certify and does such things. You already see first companies not coming to Europe with some of their innovations, maybe also I'm not sure if it's really only because of the AI Act, but it's a signal. And we have to be careful that this is not a disadvantage we are creating here.
Okay, with regards to our time, I would hand in a final question, maybe a kind of easy one, to be honest, to let us flow into the evening part. Let's play Utopia for one moment. Which of your everyday tasks would you like to delegate to a digital colleague in the future or no longer do yourself? What would be your biggest dream or wish? Maybe Joachim, starting with you.
Oh, my everyday task. It's my every weekend task. So every weekend I sit down with my kids and help them in doing their homework and catching up with what they probably missed during the week. And I'm a super impatient person. So I could never be a teacher. And I would love to outsource the capability of really explaining math, physics, chemistry, anything to them in a way that they really understand it, so that I can do whatever I want. They are being handled by my AI teacher.
I'm really glad that the answer turned out in the homework direction. Yeah, okay.
It's not a very popular, probably one, but yeah, I try to be honest there.
Okay, test it, and then I think some of us would take that too. Tanya, what would your wish be or your dream be?
So first, what I want to have is more FaceTime or face-to-face time actually in the job, also at work with leaders, but also at home with the kids, the husband. Yeah, and one thing what I would outsource immediately because it always creates tension is vacation planning. You might not have this, but it's my task, right? Not that I have nothing to do otherwise, right? But it's my task to do the vacation planning. And we have a 15 and a 17-year-old, and my husband also does not want to go everywhere. And then it starts, and what week, and where do we go, and what do we do, and and then no one is happy at the end when I take a decision. So I'm happy to get 4 agents there debating. Yeah, everybody has a few, and at the end, hopefully, we are all happy.
Okay, so we have homework, we have travel plans. Mariela.
Yeah, I would say everything that is annoying on the weekend, that would be perfect. Yeah, like washing, like dishwashers and so on. So coordinate that a little bit more smartly and lay back on the sofa.
Wow, cool. Sounds nice. Very good ideas. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you for being with us. A big applause.